It's November 15th, 2015, and we want to know, will PETA be joining my crusade against Sinestro as he continues to go too far?
Did Starfire accidentally kiss that dolphin, or did she do it on purpose?
All this and more is coming up. You know what? Never mind. We're not even doing this show anymore. It's DCU, DCR, weeks of 1920.
We rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the DCR. I am struggling to maintain after that horrible intro question for Brian.
You mean the best intro question?
Horrible. But as such, I am your host, Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and I am joined by Brian Glein, Punmeister General.
Hey there, man. Gotta retake that title.
You claimed it back with fervor.
Gotta deal with the crushing sadness with you combat it with marine biology
with
jokes.
Marine biology, yes. So, we don't have anyone else with us this week.
No.
We are running a little bit solo because Kelly is off elfing around.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she's gonna ride a train as an elf and give kids cocoa or something.
Something like that.
Maybe candy canes?
Mm.
I don't know. Isn't it like not Thanksgiving yet?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure my calendar works. But as such, I will cover this whole little opening spiel by saying we are going to be covering all the books that came out from DC Comics in their DCU line from, I want to say this is October 7th and 14th, so we're making up some ground. We're just about here. We're like 3 weeks back, 4 weeks maybe, I don't know, somewhere around there. But as such, we will be talking about, storylines, character development, maybe.
Plot beats,
things like that. So if you do not want those books spoiled, do not listen ahead. Now that we've gotten the rules of the road out of the way, Brian, you get to choose. What are we doing to go into this week's books?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Yes. Can we vault? Can we vault into this week's books, please?
You give me the option, and you've already got one set there. Go ahead and vault into
Yes! We're going to vault 111 into this week's books. All right,
Is this just going to be a whole episode of jokes that I do not understand about a game I cannot play?
I don't know what you're talking about. We're vaulting.
Okay.
We're vaulting.
Yeah, it's like the Olympics.
But we're going to start off with a new challenger that has entered the ring. We had a break for a bit there, Brian.
Is it Dalsin?
No, it is not.
Oh, man.
Stretchy arms, yoga flame. I never see that at yoga class.
No.
They never do the yoga flame. It's always very frustrating. But we've had a break. We had a little bit of a run there without this.
In hot yoga, I feel like I'm levitating, but that's just,
Touché.
Something else entirely.
We had a break without a weekly series, but now it's back. It's back with a vengeance with Batman and Robin Eternal number 1. 111. We're actually going to do 1 and 2 because we have, I didn't even mean to do it that time. So. I'm going to do the first 2 weeks' books, even though the second week obviously would be on the second half of the show. I'm sure you guys can figure out how it works. So, Batman and Robin Eternal number 1. Brian, what is a book that we have been asking for since the beginning of this show?
Alfred solo series.
Well, yes. Other than that one, a Robin's book.
Okay, yes.
Of all of the
You're
Robins,
right, that is something we have been asking about.
Palling around, doing their Robin-y things. And this is kind of what this is looking to be, because we don't have Batman. We don't have Bruce Wayne Batman, at least. We have a Robo, Commissioner Gordon Batman running around. So this one is basically Dick Grayson getting sent back to Gotham City by Spiral, and he is supposed to try to track down a dirty bomb that is supposedly at one of the schools, the colleges that they have there in Gotham City. And, as he is trying to track down one of the leads that may have information on where this dirty bomb is, he calls in some assistance, shall we say, from Jason Todd and Tim Drake, and they are all jumping around, and Jason's shooting guns at windows like, hey, I'm just murdering windows, I'm not going to kill anyone. And they end up catching this guy, and unfortunately, he does not have the information they need. But the three of them get to hang out again, and it's great, and everyone's having fun, and it's kind of like old times where they trusted each other once more. They're still a little shaky, what with that whole him pretending to be dead thing. Not too happy about that, but they're at least letting it, go water under the bridge, maybe. We'll try to move past that and move on. So, since there was no information from said lead, he just goes to the university itself to try to find the dirty bomb. And unfortunately, while he's casing the joint, he is attacked by a group of armed, crazed children. Maybe 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, a bunch of them packing guns.
Leviathan?
Not Leviathan. I don't believe it's Leviathan. It could be, but I don't think so. They're all talking about Mother. Mother has said that he has to go, and sorry, we have to kill you because Mother said we have to. She has to tidy up her mistakes. And as he kind of busts out the window to get away, they say, well, if you don't let us take you out, then the orphan's gonna come and take care of you. And, maybe orphans are kind of things they're all used to. So maybe all of them are the orphan. I don't know. We'll find out later, though.
Orphans?
Orphans? Can I have some more? No. So he runs back to his spiral contact, Dr. Ashmore, who's kind of casing the joint in the van outside. And as soon as he gets in, she actually turns on him as well with a gun and says, Mother sends her regards. And he goes, whoop, 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 and jumps on his motorcycle and drives away. Ah, crap. What the hell is going on? Who is this Mother person, and why is everyone I know trying to kill me? And that's when he is kung fu kicked off of his motorcycle by a young girl in black, a black bat, if you will, who is a Cassandra Cain, I believe, is her name?
Yes.
Okay, well, she comes up and goes, hi-ya, 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 and just dismantles Dick Grayson. He knows she's doing a bunch of lethal moves and holding back on him, so then he just kind of pauses and goes, wait a minute, you're obviously trained. You could have murdered me like 12 times over now. Why aren't you killing me? Were you sent here by this Mother person? Are you the Mother person? What's happening here? And she just hands him a Batman branded thumb drive, and he's like, oh, hey, I remember these. We used to embezzle them down in the Batcave all the time. And as soon as he goes, where did you get this? And looks back up, she, of course, is gone. Ooh, she was a ghost. Ghost. Meanwhile, Bluebird, a.k.a. Harper Row, the kind of janky street punk Robin that never actually got to be a Robin.
Yeah.
She just kind of had an adventure or two
she
with
did
Batman.
disappear, didn't she?
She did. She is evading the new robot Batman using her gizmos because he's like, you kids can't be running around here. I just yelled at a bunch of other Robins that were out on a gang fight over there and told them to go home. I come over here, there's a Batgirl running around. Now I'm over here and you're over here with all these weird little gizmos and gadgets. Just go home, kids. Go home. And
Get off my lawn.
She ends up using one of her gadgets to lock up his suit and just goes whoop, 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 and runs off into the night.
There's a lot of whoop, whoop, whooping
There's
going
a lot
on.
of whooping. A lot of whooping. She does return back home to find her brother Cullen playing video games, and she's like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Is our other roommate, a.k.a. Stephanie Brown, a.k.a. the Spoiler, home? And he goes, no, I think she's out doing like crime things and fighting, and she's in the Catwoman book. She's doing stuff over there right now. And she goes, okay, well, I'm going to go take a quick shower after my run-in with Robo Batman. And as she opens the door, there's a guy all in white, kind of a ninja-style look to him, who says, I am the orphan, and you must die, Harper Row, because you are the linchpin to all of this. If they find you, they're going to get all the answers about Mother, and we can't allow that to happen. So at the Batcave, in a little scene jump here, Dick has taken his little Batman-branded thumb drive and sticks it into the drive on the back computer, and it brings up a list of names, including himself, Jason, Tim, Harper Row, and Cassandra Cain. And he's like, well, I know all of these people except for this Harper Row person. Never heard of her whatsoever, because he was never in town during all that stuff. Probably should follow up on that lead, but that's when a recording all of a sudden kicks off of Bruce Wayne Batman stating, hey, Dick Grayson, yeah, if you're getting this, it means Mother's back in town. I'm not around to take care of it. I probably have amnesia or something. I may be down at the local Lucius Fox home for wayward children. I wouldn't look there. That's probably not where I'm at, honestly, now that I think about it. But regardless, you're stuck cleaning up my mess, and this is my greatest sin, the thing that I hate the most, the loose end that I never tied up. And you have to be careful because she will make the people that you trust do things that you wouldn't expect them to. She has a way of controlling people. Just be careful out there. It's going to be really, really dangerous for all of you guys very soon. And that's when we flash back to years ago. Woo! In an alleyway outside a theater in Cairo, Egypt, where a young boy weeps over his 2 dead parents who were just shot, and then the camera pulls back to Batman holding the smoking gun and reporting in saying, "Yes, mother, the job is done. I've seen it to completion." So, yeah. Ooh, make a new Batman, maybe. An Egyptian Batman. I don't know. Obviously, we're still 1 issue in, but it's all the Robins running around doing Robin-y things, and even ancillary.
And maybe King Tut will show up. I don't know.
Maybe. We don't know. So let's jump ahead to Batman and Robin 2.
Geez, that's just the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. Now, Batman and Robin Eternal 2, we just kind of jumped straight into the action. We had all of our setup. We're back at Harper Rowe's place. The orphan is trouncing the bejeebus out of Harper Rowe.
I would imagine.
Yes, he is just beating her senseless until she is quote-unquote rescued by Cassandra Cain, who does another kung fu kick through the window and then starts fighting the orphan. Kind of beats the crap out of him as well. Is Cassandra Cain as lethal as they are making her out to be? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because everyone she runs across in these books, she just takes them apart. It does the, I don't remember who did it first. Obviously, it's a big thing. The little mini boxes that kind of show the points as she's hitting them.
I know I started seeing them in, like, I know Green Arrow did it, but I know there was someone else that did it first. Maybe Iron Fist?
It might have been Iron Fist.
Iron Fist and Hawkeye, I think, did something similar as well.
I know Hawkeye's the most recent as far as like the resurgence of this.
Yeah.
But I think the Immortal Iron Fist also did something very similar.
I think the Fraction Iron Fist did that too.
Yeah. So, but that's what they're doing with her. Basically, it's 2 people square off. One of them is Cassandra Cain, and then all these little targeting reticles just kind of show up all over the person, and then they're a broken mass on the ground on the next panel. And it's like,
yeah, she was like a silent daughter of an assassin. She was deadly, deadly.
Gotcha. Well, they are keeping that apparently. Well, she comes in and rescues Harper Rowe, and they start fighting. And Dick Grayson arrives just at that time, like, I wonder who this Harper Rowe person is. And as he's out in the alleyway, he sees Cassandra Cain kung fu kick the orphan through the window and then knock him off the railing. And then they go running off into the night as Harper Rowe's like bleeding over the window, like, ow. And so he goes, I better get up there and help out. And he does this little hup, parkour style stuff up the side of the alleyway up into the door frame there. And as he's doing that, Stephanie Brown is returning home. She's on the other side of the street, and she just sees him go hup with his tight abs and his firm buns, and she literally says, "Kiss me, sexy Batman," and then runs off to go get her costume. And so Dick makes his way upstairs to Harper's apartment.
That's going to be on a T-shirt by the end of the month.
I'm sure it is. He makes his way up there to find a busted up Harper Rowe, and then she's all like, I'm Bluebird away.
I'm kind of a red bird right now. Maybe I'll be a purple bird soon enough. I don't know.
And Dick Grayson goes, wait, you're a superhero? How many costume teens do we have running around this city? And that's when Spoiler busts in through the window like, hey, get away from my friend, or spoiler alert, you're gonna be gargling teeth. And it's literally just a silent panel of Dick Grayson just like staring at her, blinking twice, and then, are you kidding me? Are you guys kidding me? Are they just giving away costumes in cereal boxes right now? Very cute scene of him coming back home and having to realize that he is not a very special snowflake in Gotham City.
No.
Like every single teenager in Gotham City is running around doing this crap, apparently. Introductions are made. Everyone introduces themselves to each other, and they go, holy crap, you're supposed to be dead. We saw it on TV. It was all during Forever Evil. You were killed. And he goes, yeah, about that. I was just doing something else for Batman. We need to figure out what's going on. First off, everyone's names. Who's who? And Harper goes, I'm Harper. And he goes, okay, we got to get you to safety because you're on the list. And who are you? I'm Spoiler. And he goes, yeah, okay, we got past that. What's your actual name? It's really important. I need to see if it's on this list. She goes, oh, Stephanie Brown. It's not that very exciting. And then he goes, no, you're not on the list, so you could just leave, I guess, or go spoil things elsewhere. Until all of a sudden, Tim Drake just kind of busts in through the skylight, and he's like, ha-ha, everyone, I'm here to save the day. And they're like, how did you know there was trouble? And he's like, oh, I have cameras all over this place. Totally skeeving out Stephanie Brown and Harper. He's like, what? What? They were tasteful cameras. They were not in the bathroom. I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, man, maybe Tim Drake's running the children's charity or something. I don't know.
Poor Tim Drake. But all of them are just like, okay, well, we've already sorted out
things. It's not going to get better for him. I got news for you.
Yeah. They're all like, okay, we've sorted out everything here. Let's figure out what our next move. Oh, wait a minute. Jason's still on the list too, and he's in town as well. We should probably give him a call and warn him. And they literally pick up their cell phone and call up Jason Todd, who is hanging out at Noonan's Sleazy Pub.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that that's his hangout place where he just goes and hangs out at Noonan's whenever he's in Gotham.
If any Batman ancillary character should be hanging out at Noonan's, it's him. So.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. But he answers the phone with a yellow. I love Jason Todd.
I know.
I don't know why. And they go, hey, be careful, Jason. There's an assassin coming to get you. And he's like, oh, an assassin, huh? Uh-oh. I'm so scared. Tell me, what does this assassin look like? Is she wearing all black, like a black bat of some sort? And that's where we pan out to see him holding his gun to Cassandra Cain's head as she's on her knees in the middle of Noonan's Sleazy Pub with a bunch of random gang people knocked unconscious around them. So she may be able to dismantle everyone, but not Jason Todd because he's that awesome.
He's able to sneak in as she was beating up 50 other people.
Probably. He was just showed up to have a beer and was just like, huh.
Like a brainer on the back of the head with a wrench. My only weakness.
Wrenches, no. Again, it's exactly what I want it to be. If we can start getting Damian into the mix, I'm sure we will, because it's Batman and Robin Eternal. It's they'll get all the Robins in there. If it's the kids, all of the secondary characters cleaning up Batman's messes, I guess.
Yeah.
That is a weekly I will happily read because I have asked for this exact book for quite some time. Since I want to say week 7 or issue 7s or so, right around the Batman and Robin issue 7 was when I was first like, you know what? I really want just all these Robins to pal around and be brothers and hang out and be super cool. That's how far back I've been asking for a book like this. And I got it. And it's fun. And it has a lot of light, quippy moments. And none of these characters' personalities really gel. And they don't make it so that it's just oh, well, we've all been through so much that we just let this stuff slide. No, they're going to argue with each other. And even if the Robins themselves allow that stuff to slide, you have Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain, and Harper Row in there who are kind of new to this whole thing. And I'm sure they will vocalize the eccentricities of each one of these characters.
No, I'm sure.
Jason Todd, why do you have so many serrated knives? What do you do with those? I cut pears. Lots of pears.
Yeah.
I like pears. So it's good. It's fun. I like it. I recommend it, at least from what I have read so far. I am going to continue because I had another Bat book and I figured, why not? We dealt with the kids. Let's get some Batman stuff going in here. Detective Comics. It is a new run. It is a new team. And Brian, we've been a little shy on ocular distress, don't you think?
Oh, God.
Don't you think we've had not enough ocular distress
Ocular distress is the new ripping someone's arm off.
Well, at a cricket match in India, all of the people in the stadium are suddenly attacked by water, where like water comes up through the drain, kind of flows up over their faces, slurps out their eyeballs from all of their heads, and then pulls each one of their eyeballs down the drains into the sewers below.
I was hoping it would just be chubby rain.
No. But now we have an entire cricket stadium full of eyeless people seeping out goopy things.
Yay.
Ocular distress. Which leads to the Justice League knocking on the door of Bruce Wayne's house. Going, hey guys,
hey, all of them just show up on the doorstep and ring the doorbell.
And Alfred answers, he's like, hey, I know I sent a memo at the very least. I know I've at least talked to Superman. He was here enough like a week or two ago. Bruce Wayne isn't Batman anymore. He doesn't remember any of this stuff. Can we not drag him back into it? And they go, yeah, well, we were having this whole big thing and we figured out that we don't have a detective on the Justice League anymore. And we kind of need one of those to solve this mystery thing that we're trying to solve. Can we at least talk to him and make sure that he's not there? And Alfred kind of, not really keen on it, but Bruce Wayne walks in and he's like, whoa, Justice League is here. Super cool. Come on in, guys. Have some coffee. And they go, hey, yeah, we're actually here to talk to you because you've helped out the Justice League in the past, and we were curious if maybe you could do one more thing for us. And he goes, sure, whatever I can do to help. Okay, well, just sit down. We're going to tie the lasso of truth around you and ask you just a quick question or two. And they do that and find out that he actually is full amnesia. He does not remember anything about this. And Wonder Woman just goes, no, we can't drag him back in. We have to just walk away. And they go, oh, Batman can't come out to play. And everyone just kind of leaves and shuffles out.
The Cyborg just start playing the sad Charlie Brown walk music on one of the speakers.
But they all kind of like say their farewells to Bruce Wayne. Hey, thanks so much for everything you did for us in the past. We're going to miss you, buddy. Blah, blah, blah. And they all kind of head back out. We do have a backup plan, though. Isn't there a new Batman, like a Robo Batman? I'm sure he's kind of a detective of sorts. I mean, it is kind of a major thing for the Batman persona to be all detective-y. It's a mode. You hit a button and that's how your vision works. I know how that's how Batman is.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, well, let's go find him. And as it may happen, Commissioner Gordon is enjoying some downtime by pounding back some beers and watching a Little League game and just kind of like hanging out with the locals in his area, just watching the neighborhood kids play, when a group of rogue F-16s start attacking.
Because they've got these shoulder-mounted missiles.
Well, he ends up jumping in a suit and flying up there, and he sees that the pilots of the F-16s are catatonic, and they're wearing some weird devices on their heads. And he's like, oh no, what am I going to do? I can't stop these F-16s. But the Justice League comes in and helps them out, and they kind of get the pilots to safety and destroy the planes while Batman figures out.
He sent these F-16s in as an icebreaker. That's how the Justice League rolls.
That's how they introduce themselves. But Batman figures out it is the Mad Hatter and goes and punches him in the face multiple times. It was a very quick Mad Hatter cameo where he's just like, haha, I've taken control of
I demand at least F-16s. 8 issues out of my Mad Hatter stories.
But as they all land and he's about to take the Mad Hatter to jail, the Justice League show up and Gordon's actually realizing now that it's all done. I just had a Justice League adventure. That's kind of awesome. And they're like, hello, new Batman. We have come to ask if you will join the Justice League. And he's like, no. That's so far above my pay grade. I can barely keep just armed thugs off the streets of Gotham.
I've got to bring a blimp with me, dudes. Yeah. Come on.
I don't think I'm cut out for the space alien armadas and the giant assaults of Atlantis and stuff. No, that's a little above my pay grade. And they end up talking him into it because they go, well, we already asked the other Batman and he can't do it, so we kind of need a Batman on the Justice League. It sells books. You gotta understand, man, we need a Batman in the league. And he goes, fine. And so they slap a teleporter device on his back onto his robot Batman suit and teleport him off to the Arctic where there's a giant skeleton of some alien creature, and all he can do is just go, I was goddamn commissioner like 2 weeks ago. This is not what I do. This is not in my resume. And he just kind of goes, this is a little above my pay grade, as they're leading him into the zany Justice League adventures in Detective Comics.
And is this t-shirt Superman?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
It's all the new guys.
All the new guys. That's what I've been wanting, so I guess I'll have to check that one out.
So it looks like Detective is going to be doing the quote-unquote Justice League. I don't know what you would call them, the DCU League.
The U League, yeah.
As far as all their new personas and everything. Wonder Woman's still rocking her roll.
JLUYOU.
JLYOU. Pretty fun though. Pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It's an aspect of the story with all these things going on that I think everyone's been curious about. How the Justice League is operating while everyone's in this state.
Especially with all the weird timeline issues with all the other Justice League
Exactly.
books.
So, next up though, you get to go.
Yes, finally.
I went for 20 minutes. You can do this, Brian.
Cool.
I guess you can join in.
Yeah, I'll go 20 minutes on this one. So Batman Beyond number 5. So, former Red Robin Tim Drake, who as we all know is currently living in the future under the guise of Batman Beyond.
I can live with that.
He ruined the Batman Beyond suit by letting a sentient Brother Eye virus get into it.
Oops.
So he's now moved on to the old Robot Bunny bat suit, which was still laying around in the Batcave. He uses the camo option on it to make it a Robot Bunny Batman Beyond suit, which was kind of cute since they don't really use that in the book that much since that first opening thing. And he goes to take on Brother Eye's army that's invading Gotham. He fights Spider Robot, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And hey, look, Micron. I thought he died last issue. He didn't die.
He just got really, really small.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So oh God, how can I say this and not sound awful? So Micron goes in through like Wonder Woman's ear canal, and then he grows big and explodes her. And then Tim uses the kryptonite ring from the Batcave to take out Superman. And then Micron smushes him. Micron really should be like the title character of this issue.
Micron Beyond.
Yeah. He's super effective. Tim then goes and meets up with Barbara at an old Bruce Wayne apartment, pushes a Court of Owls button, and hopefully the thing they are looking at right now that we can't see will be able to help them stop Brother Eye.
Is it creepy masks?
It's
Are they just going to wear creepy masks and they'll be like, oh, well, it's creepy people. We don't want to take this town.
Yeah. Apparently it's the same thing that was in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, so we'll find out eventually.
Fair enough. Is it an embeveled button?
A wallet.
It's a wallet. Fair enough. What do you think? Is it still zany and out there?
It is picking up.
Good.
I did like the adventuring that was going on in this issue.
And they're adding characters as well. You get Micron now running around. I mean, he's kind of taken over the book.
The
Micron, man. You know how many people have been clamoring for a Micron book?
Cricket chirping sound effect.
Who invented Micron? Who created Micron?
I don't know.
I'm sure they wouldn't have minded a Micron solo book. Make the movie, not Ant-Man. I'm Micron.
Yeah.
So next up, Midnighter. He's kind of like Batman.
Kind of.
And he's palling around with Dick Grayson in an alternate timeline of whatevers.
He is amazing.
He is pretty amazing, though. They're still on the hunt for that Russian arms dealer. God, I'm going to butcher this.
Yeah.
Noya Kakiovich?
They're not being very helpful with the Russian naming conventions in this book.
No, not at all. But he and Grayson are trying to find this guy because he has been...
I use that Google Translate a lot.
I tried to use it too, and it gave me 3 different pronunciations. And I was like, well, I can do that myself.
I did like the fact that the title that was all in Russian either translated to Colonel or Midnight. Which
yes.
Like, oh, okay.
Colonel Midnight.
I say.
They are beating their way through the streets of Moscow right now, trying to find this arms dealer who is using God Garden technology to create Russian folklore as weaponry, be it vampires, werewolves.
Excuse me, Sean. Vampires,
whatever. And they're trying to track him down because he's just hurting so many people in this process. And as they make their way into a metro that is supposedly going to lead them there, Midnighter decides they need to stick together, and it would be kinky fun if he handcuffs Grayson to him so they could fight their way through. And that's what they do. They kind of toss each other around using the handcuffs as a fulcrum and just pound their way through a bunch of Russian folklore until they finally make their way to Akakievich himself. And he has telekinetic powers and just tosses them up through the street above them out into the open. And Dick Grayson just is like, what was that? I thought you were like the ultimate martial combat guy. Why did we just get tossed through the street here? He goes, oh yeah, I just needed to get in there so I could toss my little thing and disable the jamming device he was using for my dimension doors. Now watch this. And he just kind of breaks the handcuffs real quick and then opens the dimension door and goes jump kick it right through it and then kicks Akakievich.
So cool looking.
Literally just opens the dimension door right next to Akakievich's head and just kicks through the dimension door and busts up the implant that he was using for telekinetics and then just kind of steps through and goes, ha ha, sucker, kicked your butt. And he's about to kill the guy. He picks up a piece of glass and throws it at him, but Dick Grayson's like, no, we don't kill people. How many times do I have to tell you this, Midnighter? And he throws his little stick at it that shatters it. But a piece of it ends up sticking into Akakievich's back, and he kind of crumples to the ground. Oh, woe is me. Oh, I'm broken and shattered. And the two of them, Grayson and Midnighter, just kind of go off on their own. They're like, hey, job well done. So they head for home and start doing shots of vodka, and they're like, yeah, we did good. Except Grayson's like, dude, you gotta stop the murdering people. I was standing right there. You know I do not do the murder thing. And he's like, I know you don't do it. I also knew you were gonna stop it from happening, but it totally put the fear of God in that Akakievich guy, didn't it? He doesn't know that I wasn't gonna do it. I thought it worked out fairly well myself. You're such a party pooper. But there is this begrudging respect between the two of them now. They're no longer like mortal enemies. They're just two solutions that come at it from a different angle, slightly different angles. And they actually, even Midnighter says, hey, I may not respect your style and your silly little no-kill rules, but I do respect you, and I wasn't going to betray your trust just to kill that guy. And it's kind of like, okay, well, let's crash. And they both kind of like pass out drunk, like, yeah, hey, Russian adventure with Midnighter over. It's just such a kooky book, man. I mean,
so much fun.
It's like a Stormwatch Junior as far as the threats they face, because it's always just something weird and off the wall and wonky. But
Midnighter's become such a great character.
I kind of don't want Grayson to leave the book, though.
Oh,
I think he's a good foil.
You just want Grayson in everything.
No, I think he's a good foil for. I mean, it doesn't have to be Grayson. I just think Midnighter needs someone to play off of, because otherwise he's just too stern, too straight. And it's just it's not as fun, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it works most of the time when it comes to him dealing with the crazy zany stuff and just like durba durba dur and doing his thing. like he's taking out the trash, literally. That's what it feels like to him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fun for a bit, but I think when you want to actually delve into who he is, he needs someone to play off of and someone he trusts. And we've spent so many issues building Grayson up as one of those people that he does trust, that's in the same wheelhouse as him, the same job description at the very least. Until they get someone else in that role, I think he should just hang around just to be that sounding board for him. That's my opinion. Obviously, I'm not writing it, and I've enjoyed it very much for the 5 issues it's been out, so I can't really be like, I don't think this guy knows what he's doing, so I think we should do it this way. Nah, I mean, Steve Orlando, I believe, is the one doing this one, the writing on it, and enjoyed the hell out of it, so I guess do what you're gonna do.
Just keep doing Midnighter, however you've been doing it,
I'll read the next one. Don't you worry about it. Next up,
I'm moving on to Cyborg. Booyah! I'm taking over Cyborg. So, Detroit is apparently under attack, because I haven't read the other issues.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So Detroit is under attack by a techno-organic army, something only 90s kids would understand.
Yeah.
And Cyborg is only one man Borg, so he has to call in for help. But they're everywhere. So luckily he gets some reinforcements from his Forever Evil pals, the New 52 Metal Men.
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey, it makes perfect sense for you to show up. Good, come on in.
Come on in, guys.
So, and thank goodness, because who knows what would happen if there wasn't a robot that was always liquid at room temperature there to help out.
Does he at least inform people of that?
Doesn't.
What?
I was shocked and appalled, to be quite frank.
This is not the Metal Man that I grew up with.
My childhood ruined. So they fight off the baddies and they try to get to Star Labs to get his dad and Tio Maro to help them fight. But
who has not made his heel turn at all for years now. I'm so surprised they're holding that card still.
Yeah. But so they're already there. The general of the techno baddies that killed Cyborg in the preview issue is there and wants his almost girlfriend Sarah for some reason.
Okay.
Like Cyborg's almost girlfriend. So Cyborg attacks the general, who takes her helmet off to reveal herself to be Sarah?
Okay.
As well.
Is this like alternate?
But you know,
Sarah?
Well, she's got a mohawk, so it must be the future Sarah.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, dystopian future.
Yeah, she's here to help Cyborg stop the war that his dad is going to start.
Okay.
So what's that? Oh,
so she's a Terminator?
Maybe.
Kind of. But she's here to help.
Mm-hmm.
So this is more Terminator 2.
I suppose so.
Okay. I'm with you now.
I wasn't old enough for those movies when I was a kid, so you know.
You didn't watch Terminator 2?
You know, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, my friends get to see it, but I'm not allowed to see it. And then by the time I was old enough to see it, I didn't care anymore. So,
okay, Guys, we're going to be back in like 2 hours. Brian has something very important to do.
I think I eventually saw it on TV and wasn't that impressed because it was way too late after the fact.
It was so 90s awesome, though.
I guess.
There was AC/DC all over the place.
I can imagine. I can imagine hair drapes. So many hair drapes. I know there was that.
So how do you feel about Cyborg?
The guy that screwed up X-Files.
Yes, there's that.
He didn't screw it up. He actually wasn't that bad on it, but still wasn't the same.
How do you feel about Cyborg? I know you said you weren't reading any of the previous ones. It's his first go at a solo, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it is. So as far as I'm aware, apart from maybe like a mini series back in the day when he first started out,
just poking your head in and seeing what they're doing. Is it at least interesting, or are you just kind of like, not really my cup of tea?
It's not bad.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I'm keep hoping he's going to start yelling "booyah" and
booyah!
Hanging out with Beast Boy, but I know that's not going to happen anymore. But
they need him to go fight like Mega Man villains and stuff. They need to choose,
right?
Like Cutman and
gain
Rock
their powers
Man.
by absorbing explosion balls.
He's already got the Buster Cannon. He just
right?
Booyah! Booyah!
Yep.
So next up.
I just wanted to be like that Smash Brothers trailer for when Mega Man showed up. That's all I need.
That's all you want?
Yeah. All right. So moving on to Action Comics number 45.
Is there action?
Actually, this one, not that much. We'll get there.
That's some poor selling points.
I suppose. Not since the never-ending story. The joke I always go back to. So the aftermath of the big Wrath fight in Kent Town Metropolis. And we see how the community is dealing with Clark Kent being Superman. Perry White still hates him.
No.
Yeah. Which I
I understand where he's coming from as far as hey, that explains why everyone I work with has almost been murdered 10,000 times.
Yeah.
I kind of see that whole angle.
Yeah. There's a few interesting things I'm not going to touch on until later, but that's one of them. The police are starting to get back on his side. So like Officer Mizuguchi and the crooked cop lady Annabella are helping to restore Kent Town. So there's that.
That's good.
And also Hero the Toy Master tries to help Superman and tracks him down to his like secret Unabomber base he's got going on in the woods.
Okay.
Which Superman then has to destroy and walk away from without, looking back at the explosion because Hero showed up and started like periscoping the whole thing. He's like, "Oh, check out, I can make some new Superman toys based on your like t-shirt form. Check it out. Hold on, let me 3D scan your hideout for the play set." He's like, "No,
put this on Force Space real quick."
Yeah. Hey, I'm the king of your abandoned shack. Who'd have thought?
Does anyone even use that anymore? I don't think so.
Probably not. So Superman is working undercover as Archie Clayton, a laundry delivery man. He's been staking out the Life Gene biotech company, and today is the day he uses his skills to figure out what is behind the big door that everyone pretends isn't there.
Okay.
There's like this big ominous looking door. It's like almost like they should have had like a gigantic Omega painted on it, like in Vive. Just like, oh nope, everyone ignore that. Nope, just carry on about your
Nothing
business.
to see there. That's where we keep the office supplies.
Yeah, just need some staples. You get the big boss to go and get them for you. So
just fire erupting out of it and screams in terror. Yeah. Comes out all singed. I got the staples.
So he does this little mini one-man Ocean's 11 thing where he like is able to, sneak into the door. And who should be behind it but the energy zapping supremacists he's been fighting in many of the Superman stories so far.
Weep womp.
Weep womp. They are working together with Wrath and are doing terrible experiments on the populace that have been infected with shadow goop.
How?
Yeah.
How does one get infected with shadow goop?
I don't know.
Do they just like toss it on you? Because it'd be hard to throw, I would think, being shadows.
It happened to Lee, the other day, so I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Or the last issue.
Yeah, she has all the Shadow Rage monster. Rawr.
She's got her anime arm and whatnot. Yeah, so he saves a bunch of people and sees that they've also kidnapped Lee as well, and she warns him not to get too close, and then he gets attacked by shadow goop or gets infected by it. I don't know, but it's to be continued. We're gonna
cool, he
out.
can have an anime arm too now. It'd be like a Fist of the North Star. Pow!
Yep.
And then their heads explode.
People just randomly explode.
Yeah.
If the video game taught me anything, people just explode.
Exactly. You know the premise then. You're down with this.
I didn't realize that was actually what it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was just poor programming in the 80s.
Nope,
Okay, all right.
That was spot on.
All right.
Yeah, I do. As I said before, I like the way they're tying all these things together. And
as we build towards this big story with Wrath and the various other anti-Superman people.
Yep. I wonder if it's going to be the anti-Superman army or whatever it was from Action Comics back in the day.
Maybe.
Yeah. when Morrison was writing it. He had the anti-Superman army of all these people teaming up. So maybe these people are forming a new one, the new anti-Superman army. This ain't your grandpappy's anti-Superman army.
It's your anti-Superman army.
So next up, Omega Men. They're not just men, they're Omega Men. And this one is kind of centering around Brute, the giant rock monster guy. Rock monster! And he is returning.
My son saw me taking notes, and I just had the little Omega Men spacer in the between. He's like, what's the Omega Man? Well, it's Omega Men, and I really can't explain what's actually happening in this. They're like space pirates. He's like, I like pirates and space. Like, nope. Still not for you.
Should have just stuck with Omega Man and then just do Charlton Heston impressions the entire time. That would have worked much better. Take it you never saw that old movie?
I can make jokes about him as Leonardo da Vinci.
Nope.
The ceiling will be done when I say it's done.
So this one is centering around Brute the Rock Monster, who is returning back to his home planet because it is a giant religious planet, and he was the son of the High Pontifex.
Right, Michelangelo painted the ceiling. Don't mind me.
Yeah, whatever.
The turtle.
You could do your art cliff notes like I do my literary cliff notes. But they are actually all meeting there because it is a sanctuary place, and they're going to make a trade with the Citadel for Princess Callista to get money or whatever to release her. And as they show up, Brute is actually going to try to bust open their holy stone that they have there in the temple to try to get something called the Key of Alpha that the Omega Men actually need. This entire setup as far as meeting there to trade Callista back to the Citadel is just a cover story so that they could get Brute there to try to get this Key of Alpha. And it turns out he left the whole thing. He's actually, Brute is his language for a heretic, essentially, where he was cast out because the upper echelons, because he was the son of the High Pontifex, he could see how everything ran, and it's all entirely corrupt. It's all do as I say, not as I do, and they're always taking money for things, and they're just insulating their own power so that they keep their control over the people. And he kind of was like, hey, this isn't right, and he ended up being banished and kicked out as a heretic. And now he's come back, and he's just going to try to crack open this thing. But as they're trying to do that, turns out the Citadel is also there because his father had betrayed them and sold the information that they were going to be there early to the Citadel so that they could come and kill whatever they were going to do with them. And he doesn't really care. He gets to keep his son and all of the monies that they have. So to the High Pontifex, it's an awesome deal, but does not quite work out because as the Citadel comes crashing through, Brute just smashes his way through this rock and then throws the little key thing that came out from inside of it up to Tiggs, who is jumping through the window at the time, one of the other Omega Men, the little jumpy acrobatic gunslinger that they have on their team.
Okay.
And she just kind of takes a key and dives out the window just as the Citadel comes in and starts slamming everyone's faces down on the ground. You're under arrest! Get on the ground! Hands behind your head! And it's just like, oh no, what will happen next? So it's pretty much everyone except for Tiggs is now captured. So, we'll see where it goes from there. It's really difficult for me to explain this one.
I know.
It's so freaking difficult, and I feel so bad because it's a quality book. But unless I want to spend like 45 minutes going over it, the high level makes it sound like nothing much is happening, but you look at it and you're like, holy crap, look at all this stuff going on. And it's so much better. Don't go buy this is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do go buy it.
Do go buy it. Just don't go buy my recaps of it. It is much better than I make it sound.
Okay. All right. I got a nice Green Arrow block coming up. Green Arrow 45. Skeleton ninjas have kidnapped George the Wolf. Tarantula showed up.
Sounds like Green Arrow to me.
Yeah. George the Wolf, I mean, to remind you, is an actual wolf. Tarantula showed up out of nowhere to help Green Arrow escape them. The ninjas have already stolen a magic bear skull from the Seattle Museum of Art during the fracas in the Green Arrow 8-page preview.
Okay.
Like, that was the thing that happened there was just all smoke and mirrors. The two of them, Green Arrow and Tarantula, are heading towards Juarez to get George back when they come across a gas station that is just infested with moths, and my Brian senses start tingling because it's a Green Arrow book, you know. And we find out that the attendant is dead and has a bunch of ancient Mayan symbols drawn around the station in his blood. They stand for Bone Snake Spirit, which I'm sure won't lead them towards anything bad at all.
No.
Or at least maybe at the very least like a grindcore band or something.
I would assume that sounds very much so. It was just an underground concert. That's all it was.
Oh, God, this is crabcore. They're just squatting. They're just squatting bizarrely.
Crab people walk like crabs, talk like people.
Yep. All right. So we end that story and we start another one. So
wait, that was the end of that issue, or
that was the end of that issue? That's the end of Green Arrow 45. They get the ominous thing that's going on in Juarez, and then we get a prelude to another story that will start taking place after that in Green Arrow Annual 1.
Okay.
So we get a really long story about white supremacists in president masks fighting local werewolves.
Okay, pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a out there just, hey, by the way, while this stuff's going on, there are white supremacist presidents fighting werewolves in town.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
We thought we'd fill you in because that seems like an important plot point.
Yes. The werewolves are actually called wargs.
Okay.
And they're treated more like lepers than werewolves, but still.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
it's a wolf-borne virus from Norway, and it's starting to affect Seattle, and there's like warg colonies and stuff of like, well, you've got this disease, you've got to go live in this camp.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Do they just transform, or do they just get all mangled and weird looking?
They get, it's almost like, you know, the like weird lumps and bumps and lesions and crap they get all of them, make them rather wolf-like.
Okay,
it's like, you're
enough.
Stuck with pointy ears
it's
and
not
sharper
just all of
teeth.
a sudden the moon comes out and they
Yeah,
all
it's
go,
not-
ow,
yeah,
and
no.
run off into the night.
It's not like Teen Wolf or Teen Wolf the animated series. Oliver's dealing with it thanks to Fifth pointing him at it, and Emiko is beating up the kids of the
White supremacists?
white supremacists, who call themselves the Patriots, at school. So they team up and go to the local Halloween parade where something is supposed to go down. So the Patriots try to kill all the wargs. The wargs try to infect everyone so everyone can be like them and they don't have to hide anymore. And no one is right. It's like it's the Captain America Winter Soldier. It's like, how do we know who the bad guys are? It's like the ones who are shooting at you. That kind of situation. Or who are the good people? The ones who aren't shooting at you.
Yes.
Yes. So they take out the leaders of the two groups, and everyone is safe, except for Oliver, who got bitten by a warg. Uh-oh. So this will be...
wait, we're going to have werewolf Green Arrow?
Yes, after we deal with these spooky, scary skeletons, we'll deal with werewolf Green Lantern.
Nice.
I know, right?
I get a little bit, hey, he's got George the Wolf
I
there.
know, right?
Maybe they'll just form a new wolf pack or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would call them.
A wolf pack?
No, I just meant like, just better probably team name of just two people. If there was more than two of them, it
Give
would
them
be a wolf
jetpacks, they can
pack.
be the Airwolves.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or they could get an old 80s helicopter and be Airwolf as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that could work. So I kept it green. I have Green Lantern. Green Lantern. Because I'm about to head down a dark path, Brian.
Uh-oh.
I'm heading down a dark path. This one's not so bad, but the next one after that, Lobo, you might have some words.
Ruh-roh.
You might have some words. So, Green Lantern has finally tracked down the location of Black Hand, who now cannot raise the dead, but can turn things to stone by touching them. After bringing back to life everything that was in the source wall, he can't do the whole resurrect thing anymore. Now he can just turn things to stone. That's what the source wall was good at. So he tells Darlene, the AI of his ship, to take Virgo and Trapper somewhere else. Just, you always wanted to be autonomous, Darlene. Go have a vacation for a couple hours, and then meet me here after that time's done. And so the entire time, Trapper and Virgo aren't really keen on this whole thing. They feel they should go with him to help out. But then Trapper tries to explain the virtues of visiting a brothel to Darlene the spaceship as they're trying to figure out where they're going to go on their 8-hour vacation or whatever it is. So he heads on over to where Black Hand is, Hal does, and tries to reason with him, but not really working out too well. Black Hand's very, very, very unstable. You know how he was unstable before? where he could like bring things back to life and was running a circus of dead corpses at one point.
Yeah.
He's less stable now because he can't do that.
Good to know.
So Hal's like, hey man, we'll sort this thing out. I know ways we could probably fix this thing up. He goes, how do you know anything? How do you know me? How do you know what's happening? And then Hal takes off his hood, and that just sends Black Hand into a violent rage because he blames Hal Jordan for this whole thing, for suckering him into helping out during the Godhead event and losing his powers to the Source Wall. It's your fault I'm like this, grrr. And it's his powers are so strong that even Hal Jordan's constructs are being turned to stone whenever he touches them. So that could make construction very, very easy if you really think about it. These two could just build anything. They're like the ultimate constructor set between the two of them. But instead, Hal Jordan uses that to his advantage and makes a giant flail and allows Black Hand to touch it and then smacks him in the face with a giant stone ball. Yay, Hal Jordan. And this whole thing is interspersed with the spaceship flying around to planets trying to quote unquote smell the roses and just landing in flower beds. Like, is it supposed to do something? I mean, he always says we're supposed to stop and smell them, but it just seems like nothing's happening. I can't even smell, so this seems kind of pointless. And we will pick up from there next time. It's kind of wrapping up the whole Black Hand thing. I'm not sure where they're going to go with him. I'm kind of hoping he's teaming up with their little crew of misfits.
Their weird band of
yeah,
whatever.
their bando misfits, the ship of broken toys that they have going on right there. But I guess we'll find out. He seems very much I should probably kill him now because every time I've let him live, nothing good has ever happened.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out later.
Batman's nowhere to be found. I can do it, right?
So next up is Lobo.
Mm-hmm.
Lobo, who is working for Sinestro in hunting down lanterns. And he had already crossed the line last month when he beat up my boy, Saint Walker, and dragged the Blue Lantern back to Sinestro.
Is that really that bad?
It is. Okay. It's
Okay.
really that bad. Before that, he had murdered Rancor of the Red Lantern.
that was uncalled for.
Very uncalled for. Needless to say, Lobo is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Sinestro's fault that he's on this warpath because after his little murder path that he's gone on, it's Initiation Day on Ismalt. Trocitus is there. Dexter is there. They're doing the whole pomp and circumstance. They're just, I don't know, shooting blood streamers all over the place. Cause it's a new batch of initiates to replace the quite literal red shirts that have been slaughtered throughout all of the Red Lanterns showing up. Unfortunately, Lobo is there and murders all of them. He murders every single one of these new initiates, and Atrocitus and Dexter are like, this will not stand, and they go chasing after him. But they don't realize that he has set up a bunch of traps, and Dexter flies straight into one and is obliterated into tiny little hate kitty pieces. Meow.
No.
Dexter is dead.
How did that make it past editorial? That is uncalled for.
Lobo is a loose cannon.
Lobo needs to be stopped.
I'm telling you, I warned you guys for 2 months now. He's out of control. We gotta rein him in somehow.
My God, we became complacent.
But then that sends Atrocitus into a blind rage. You killed my hate kitty! And he comes after him and starts like pummeling the crap out of them. But because it's just wild rage that he's swinging at him, Lobo gets the upper hand and uses his knives and guns to evaporate Atrocitus into a fine red mist.
What?
Collects up all the rings. Another job well done by the Lobo. Throws them in his pocket and shoots off back to Sinestro Town.
Huh.
I was like, you son of a bitch.
You got rid of two of the best characters created within the past however many years.
Well, then there's another scene.
Okay.
Because the Red Rage battery that's been attached to one of their characters, it's shown up before in the past. There's like, they call her the Rage Mother.
Okay.
She's kind of fused into the red battery. Bleeze is leading her to safety from the Lobo attack when she just starts retching up blood pools all over the place because, hey, I mean, if that's who your motto or your mascot's gonna be, Sure, that's what she should do.
Gotcha.
And as she fills up a giant blood pool, all of the people that were just murdered come out of it as Atrocitus laughs and goes, "You cannot kill rage itself." And Dexter the Hate Kitty's like, "Meow."
Thank goodness. Was Zilius there?
No.
He's still alive somewhere.
You cannot kill rage itself unless him hanging out with Guy Gardner made it so that he was actually happy, and that's what he even said. He wasn't really rage-filled anymore. He was pretty happy, and he wanted to protect his friends. It may be Guy Gardner's fault that he can't come back. I'm going to say...
Never trusted that bowl cut. I still say we never saw the body. I still think he's alive
saw
somewhere.
The body.
He's alive somewhere with an eye patch being a space pirate.
It's going to be awesome
I
once
know,
we see him again. But again... Until that last page, I was like, "You son of a bitch, Lobo! You son of a bitch! I'm not even buying you anymore. You're going too far. I'm just gonna guess what you did next month because I refuse to support this." Yeah, Lobo went around, kicked some puppies, and shot some nuns because he's an asshole. That's why.
Yeah. They were selling plushy deck stars at my comic shop last week. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They can't do that, can they?
Oh, God, no. But it's to the point right now where I wasn't sure because they haven't been utilizing them. And I was like, maybe they think they've gone fallow for too long. Oh, God. No. Not Dexter the Hate Kitty.
Yeah.
But he survives another day.
Yes.
So, thankfully.
Man, I tell you.
I know.
Ugh.
But this Lobo is still out of control. Needs to be reined in.
Action needs to be taken.
But that's not this half.
Okay.
So, Brian, what do you have coming up for round 2?
I got Batmite, Batman, Superman, Starfire, Superman, Lois and Clark, Constantine, and Justice League United.
And I got the Catwoman, speaking of mouse, Red Hood and Arsenal, yay, Jason Todd! Harley Quinn, Earth 2, The Society, and Justice League of America. So hold on a couple quick seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books.
Have returned.
Holy crap! It's you!
Yes, it is I, Telos.
Is that your name?
Yes.
Are you Telos?
Well, for now, I'm Telos.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long, man. It's been since Convergence.
I know, right? Good to see you again, Jonathan.
Well, you did try to kill me last time.
Oh, well.
I saw you.
Water under the bridge.
Is it? Is it really water under the bridge?
If I say it is, I believe it is. That's how it works, isn't it?
I guess.
Yes.
I don't think so. But did you take Brian? Is he up fighting for his life again?
I believe he's in the restroom already, but you know, I just like to show up and I'm converging right now as I speak. The shame I didn't get to see Kelly. She's never here when I'm here.
I know.
In fact, you've never seen us together in the same room, have you?
You're Kelly?
No. I'm just joshing you. You know, one of the wonders of my...
Josh?
Oh my goodness, am I? Oh my. So many revelations. So I decided to show up back on my favorite podcast because one of the wonders of my all-encompassing powers is that I'm able to travel here to Earth 33 and read my own comic.
Oh, you have your own comic?
I have my own comic. It is Telos #1. Would you like me to regale you with my universe-shattering adventures?
Well, I mean, I guess.
I mean, it says it right there on the cover, universe-shattering, and I thought to myself, that is the perfect way to describe me, universe-shattering. well, also domes, but you know.
What? Okay, I guess, but I mean, didn't you run off to like go find your family and stuff? Is that what this is about? Or did you take a break from finding your family just to come read your own comic book?
Yes.
Okay. Regale. Hopefully Brian will be back soon and he can finally meet you for the person you are.
Mm-hmm. So as you can see, I am no longer a planet, but in order to make myself more gritty and popular with the kids, I have grafted a Baraka blade onto my one arm with vein wires. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of impractical, though. How do you just pick up things with that?
with my other arm.
Okay, well, what if you need both of your hands, like it's heavy or something?
If I shift my hand back, I impale it. So that's a problem. So I'm just gonna have to kind of like push my wrist against things, but it works out.
It seems very impractical, is all I'm saying. I mean, I would think you would have things that you need to do as whatever you are and whoever you are that might require both hands.
Well, my current predicament is I am storming a Brainiac spaceship.
Okay, well, that might be useful in that situation then.
So I use my powers and go and storm Brainiac's spaceship and beat up his Epcot head robots. Because I just hate futuristic cities of tomorrow.
Oh,
except when I'm putting them under domes.
Yes,
that's
well,
if they're not under a dome and they're like as someone's dome, doesn't work for me at all.
Okay, duly noted for the future then.
So, and then I fight Brainiac and I just really emasculate him. I rip off his snake armor, so he's just a man, just a tiny green man.
Okay.
You know, so I say, "What's my name?" And Brainiac, no, really, what is my name? And
is it DMX?
I don't know what it is. I tried barking; it didn't sound right.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
a rough.
Yes. So I go and I tried to kick Brainiac in his proverbial balls, his snake robot balls, if you will.
Okay.
And I ask him, where my family at? Because as you know, in the future of Earth 45, I'm also a Boost Mobile spokesman.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. So where my family at? I'm branding myself as well.
Okay. I have my little list here of things we know about quote unquote Telos. I also have my other list of things we don't know about quote-unquote Telos, including what his name is.
So, Brainiac doesn't remember what my name is either.
Well, he did kind of reset the universe, isn't that
exactly?
Kind of an issue?
He erased his hard drive when he reinstated the multiverse. What are the odds of that happening?
Fairly high, I think.
But luckily, he backed it up on his external hard drive. But you see, because it's a Brainiac hard drive, it's become sentient and taken over his home planet of Kolu. Uh-oh.
That must be a problem. I mean,
it's such a problem.
Does Brainiac just go into Best Buy and spawn a bunch of sentient AIs as he just walks around? Like
toasters just come to life. Your Fitbit just starts gnawing at your arm.
He's just giving you incorrect information. You've only burned 2 calories today.
No, but you burn calories as you're sitting still. No. So I am now forced to work with my most hated enemy again. So now I've got to sneak onto Kolu, and with the help of a pretty lady Brainiac named Tekne, who I've got to go and install a Windows 95 virus onto a computer, just like Will Smith in Independence Day.
Oh, sweet.
I'm so excited. I might even get jiggy with it.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Are you going to make a song? I mean, so wait.
Domes.
Okay, never mind. Again, is this like what you were doing after you left, or is this just you taking a break? You're confusing me, Telos. You're confusing me.
This is stuff I already did.
Okay.
And I came back to your Earth so I could read about what I did.
Did you write this? Because it seems like it's you just beating up a bunch of people that you don't like and kind of getting your way a lot.
I don't know what you are talking about. So I can't find my family. So at least I've got this lady that looks like my least favorite person in the multiverse to go and get weird feelings about while I perform super cool espionage on an alien planet.
Well, again, that sounds like something you would insert yourself into. Maybe not someone else would write about your adventures, because you weren't really shown to be very effective in convergence. Remember, you kind of put domes up, and then you took
I put domes
down,
up all the time.
But then you just took them down, and then you put them back up again.
Yes, I did.
And then
they were all very clearly stated rules. I told every single dome something different, and I adhered to every single one of those different sets of rules. I had a huge spreadsheet, Jonathan.
Okay. I'm not going to judge. I'm just saying, this doesn't seem like the type of adventure you would actually have. It seems like
this is exactly an adventure I had. No. Wait, hey, Sean, what's that over there? What? Telos away!
Oh, man! Oh, you got away good. I hate Telos.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Oh, hey, Brian. You missed Telos.
Oh, man. Oh, he's the one that recapped Telos?
Yes. That's why we didn't assign it, apparently.
I guess so.
Yes, because we knew he couldn't resist showing up to cover his own book.
I suppose so. I know. I've got Batmite. Do you want me to go into Batmite?
Yeah, I guess you could do Batmite. I'm a little wary about the factual nature of this Telos book.
Oh,
I just think it's being embellished a little bit and isn't exactly how his adventures went.
Is Telos
I'm just throwing that out there.
Is Telos teaming up with the Transformers or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that time.
So, Batmite number 5. So in this issue, Batmite fixes, quotation fingers, the Inferior Five, a group of joke parody heroes that have kind of flitted in and out of continuity of the DC universe.
Yeah, we actually got a correction from the last time when we were trying to figure out where they were, and they weren't the Justice League Antarctica.
Yeah, the Justice League of
thought.
Antarctica. I looked that up afterwards. It was a completely different group. They were some inept villains that decided to be heroes, including Major Disaster, Clock King, and your favorite Big Sur.
Yeah, Big Sur!
Fighting the Flash, killing mice.
Yeah, and mice.
So the Inferior Five is the Blimp, who is a big fat guy that can float, and he can technically fly if the wind is with him.
That's a power.
Yeah. White Feather, who is just sort of like your typical archer, but he's scared of everything. Merry Man, who is just this 98-pound weakling.
Okay.
Who is dressed like a jester for some reason.
Yeah, he's shown up in Detective already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back during the Joker storyline, not the Endgame one, the one before that, the Death of the Family.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh.
He was one of the Joker ripoffs that was running around during the chaos in the city and trying to...
Did he get murdered?
No, he ended up escaping, but...
Was he acting as a hero, or was he...
as a villain. As a villain. Yeah.
Interesting.
He was killing people.
Yeah, apparently he was originally based on Woody Allen, but they are very much drawing him as a Stephen Colbert, which I found kind of amusing.
Fair enough.
There's Awkward Man, who's just this big blue dude who's always tripping over things.
Okay.
And Tough Bunny, who was the former Dumb Bunny. They gave her a little bit of dignity in this.
Okay.
I guess in the old, like, out-of-continuity versions, she was like the daughter of... like a Wonder Woman and a Steve Trevor analog.
Okay.
Except she got Wonder Woman's strength, but Steve Trevor's intelligence.
Wait, whoa! Yeah. Whoa! That is insinuating that Steve Trevor is in fact dumb. That is an untrue statement. That is some libel right there. That is some libel.
So he decides to make them the Superior Six by
freaking Telos writing his own books. Got people calling Steve Trevor a noob.
So he decides to make them the Superior Six. Batmite joins as their leader, and he makes them all dark and gritty. So it's Batmite. He turns Tough Bunny into Rabbit and makes her a super speedster because a bunny being strong doesn't make any sense.
Okay, that does kind of have some logic behind it.
Turns the Blimp into Zeppelin and gives him Hindenburg powers.
Wait, whoa. What are Hindenburg powers?
Well, he can shoot flames and lasers and stuff.
I don't think the Hindenburg can do that.
He doesn't, blow up or anything, but...
just make sure he didn't slowly fall over in flames on occasion.
That would be very Blimp. In White Feather, it's like, you can still be White Feather, but you're not terrible. Awkward Man becomes the Tripper, and he can make, I don't know, enemies fall over or something now. Or he gives them vertigo or something like that. And Merryman just becomes Merry Mac. He's just like, I don't know, he's kind of like the...
like an ironclad ship?
He's like a Metropolis Kid version of Merry Man. He's got cool sunglasses now and a mohawk.
Okay.
And like
he's for the future.
And like a leather Ghost Rider jumpsuit or something. I don't know.
Okay, sure.
So they go and fight Gridlock's forces. I guess Gridlock stole like an old lost pilot of like a Star Trek show.
Okay.
That, was being kept at the Smithsonian, and Merryman was very, very intent on making sure that thing stayed safe. So they fight Gridlock's forces. They're super mean when they're doing it. They're breaking bones and spleens and almost killing people. And only Tough Bunny remembers that they used to be what they used to be like and misses being fun and not mean. Making us gritty ruined us, the recurring theme of the series.
Yes.
I will say this, Tough Bunny being one of those like idiot savant kind of characters that acts dumb but might accidentally be one of the smartest characters was very endearing.
Good.
Because I'm very endearing about it. She thinks Batmite is Batman the entire time, just under his secret identity. And she's like, that's not how secret identities work. And there's just an amazing shot of her going, right, gotcha, Batman, wink and point. And like, oh, Tough Bunny, you're fantastic. So it's followed by, see,
that's much less savant than idiot. So.
I suppose so. I'm just like, I remember seeing those characters show up in TV shows all the time. Like, oh, those are fun. Yeah, those are always fun. So after Gridlock gets away and the Inferior 5 is restored, the Fifth Dimensional Council that banished Batmite in issue 1 decides that he's too dangerous and sends a silent assassin after him.
Uh-oh. Are they like actually silent, or are they just really quiet?
I don't know. We don't see them yet.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't even know they were in the room.
I bet you there's going to be a silent but deadly joke.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So one issue left. We will see how this wraps up.
I gave you some seriousness, though.
Yes.
I gave you a real, I don't want to say that. I was almost going to say real book, but it's a much more rooted into the DCU storyline book.
Yes. So talking about Batman 45.
Yeah.
So
I like the Batmites and the Bizarro minis, though. I think they work for what they are.
They're fun. I'm maybe a little confused. I'm not sure if Batmites is focused as Bizarro is.
I don't think so, but I think it's just it's a fun excuse to just do revamps on characters that are out there. They have a theme they're running with, and it's a solid theme. It's just
that Damien issue still made no sense
in
comparison with the rest of it, but whatever. So moving on to Batman 45. When we last left Jim Bats before that one-shot interlude where he was out of the robot armor and trapped in a cremation incinerator by the Devil Pigs, some goons working for Mr. Bloom who graft horns onto their heads because body modification is super extreme, I guess.
It is pretty extreme.
I would love to see how that works out for them in a police lineup. Must have been some other guy with 3 horns on his head. I've been framed.
It's fairly common.
Yeah. There's at least 10 of us. But he's able to Spider-Man up and remember his relatives to be able to get out of the situation. And Daryl and Julia are able to send the Robot Bunny Batsuit into the fray to beat up the bad guys with a shark in each hand and extract Jim Bats to fight another day.
You know what? That's fair enough. That is entirely fair enough. If
there's dual-wielding sharks by the tails and beating up devil pigs with them.
You win this round at that point.
Yes. So let's see. Elsewhere in the issue, Duke shows up to try to offer a Robin position to Daryl because I guess they're related.
Okay.
In some way, shape, or form. And to remind everyone that, hey, We Are Robin is on sale right now. Amnesia Bruce Wayne builds a children's playground of the old Batcave trophies that Joker corrupted and paraded around during the Joker zombie infestation to impress his art teacher girlfriend. He's like, it's fun and functional. How do you like this? Huh?
It's repurposed Joker items?
Yep.
That increases the value by at least 10%.
Yes. I do he turns the old robot dinosaur from the basement into a slide. You slide out of the transformer's mouth.
That's
paints
pretty cool.
Paints it Barney colors. I mean, come on.
It's almost like him regaining his innocence.
I know. After the Devil Pigs debacle, Jerry Powers wants Jim to resign as Batman and holds a big press conference. There's even an implication that he was trying to recruit Amnesia Bruce to take over for him.
Ooh.
But it gets hijacked by Mr. Bloom, who commandeers the Bat Blimp, crashed it into the proceedings, and just killed a bunch of people with his spinety fingers.
Okay.
Let's see. He likes Blimp, has spinety fingers. I wonder who he could be.
Is he spinety? That's not a character, is it?
Not a character, no.
Okay. But it is starting to lean very much towards a character from Batman's past.
Yes.
And until they do the reveal, I don't want to say anything. I mean, I think most people can figure it out, but
you weren't reading.
It could be a swerve, too.
It could be
a swerve. So it would make sense, though, if it's almost a full circle thing, if it is him, and if that is what brings Bruce Wayne out of his current state somehow, since that was the quote-unquote first supervillain Batman fought. So that would be interesting.
Yep.
I'm sure there'd be some sort of way they could do it, but their book, they can run with it whichever direction they want.
If they're doing swerves, maybe it's that John Cena meme again. Also, he takes off his mask. He's like, "Oh, it's John Cena!" Oh, that's been popping up all over. I'm just watching random videos and that happens. Like, okay,
goddamn John Cena
everywhere.
Again, though, Batman solid as a rock. It's really hard for them to put out a bad issue, it seems, and it doesn't really get much praise here, but it's just because it's consistently solid.
We've got to find something to say about
exactly. It's hard for us to just be like, it's so good.
Like, oh, Scott Snyder wrote a well-crafted story that ties into other things from the past.
I guess it's the fact that
Greg Capullo and Danny Mickey are doing a good job with art. There's a shocker.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that everyone knows it too. I mean, it's not a newsflash to anyone. Of all comic book readers, I don't think anyone's passing on Batman, it seems.
Yeah.
It just seems like everyone's already reading it. It doesn't really need us to be like, hype train, come on guys, Batman! It's still awesome. You know this, you read it.
Yeah.
But one that isn't getting as much press is Catwoman. And it's, I always feel bad because I can't do it justice, because it is a noir crime drama that is happening, and it is good. It's really, really good. And we've been following the storyline of Catwoman as a leader of one of the crime families in Gotham City, and she's been facing off against Black Mask and his crime families that are under him. And where we had left off last issue, Catwoman's protege, shall we say, a young girl by the name of Aiko, had dressed up as Catwoman and gotten herself injured because Black Mask thought she was Catwoman and shot her, and then was nursed back to health by Killer Croc and decided to go home, still dressed as Catwoman, and Black Mask saw it and thought that her crime family was working with Catwoman, so showed up with his troops and gunned down her father for working with his enemy. And now Aiko has taken over the Hasegawa family and is not too keen on hanging out with Catwoman, since it was the whole Catwoman identity that technically got her father killed, and it's just you know what, let's just let bygones be bygones and not hang out with each other anymore. Even more so, Stephanie Brown, who's also been training underneath Aiko, they've been kind of working together, just teaching each other different tricks and everything, is terrified to find out that Aiko has kind of become a revenge nut, really wants to get revenge against Black Mask, will do anything, sacrifice all of her people to kill this guy. Nothing is too high of a cost to see Black Mask dead. So she's kind of like, let's dial that down a little bit if we can. And the reason they need to dial that down is because there is an X factor in play, and that X factor is Penguin, the guy in the middle of this fight that's been kind of shifting his allegiance back and forth, and you never know where he's going to land at that particular moment. And Antonia, the cousin of Catwoman, who has taken over the family now that Catwoman has stepped down, comes in and says, hey, I'm the one in charge now. And Penguin says, hey, that's not what the deal was. You were supposed to bring me Catwoman's head, and then I would ally with you. And she goes, well, hey, guess you're going to have to accept the new terms of the deal. If you like it, you like it. If not, too bad, so sad. Let me know. And she walks out the door as Penguin's kind of like, well, maybe I'll take it, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just turn against you again like I was before. And later on, Black Mask shows up at Penguin's because he's like, hey, I've been hearing you were talking to the Catwoman crew. What's up with that? Aren't you teamed up with me? And he's like, yeah, of course I'm teamed up with you, Black Mask. As a matter of fact, here, I'll let you use my underground tunnels that I have underneath Gotham. Who knew these were here? Who knew anything was underneath Gotham City? I mean, it's a surprise to all of us, I'm sure. But I will allow you to use these to smuggle your goods and do whatever you want to do. And Black Mask just kind of steps in there and he's like, yeah, these will work out real good. No one else knows about these? And Penguin tells him, well, maybe not no one, as he slams the door shut in time to see Catwoman standing there. It looks like Penguin actually sold out Black Mask to Catwoman, and there's a big old fight with her chasing him around the under tunnels there until she shoots him in the back. Uses his own gun to shoot him in the back, and he just drops to the ground bleeding. She even sends Killer Croc as a messenger over to Aiko to say, hey, I already killed Black Mask. You don't have to sacrifice everything to do it. And she's like, well, cool. I guess we'll have to figure out something else to do. And as she is trying to figure out her next move, because all of the people underneath her don't really trust her. It's a very traditional Japanese Yakuza-style gang, and the daughter isn't supposed to take control. Some of the people are trying to rise up against her. She decides she's going to murder all of the insubordinate families instead, so she doesn't have to worry about keeping them in line. And Spoiler's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't murder a bunch of people. I know they're just gangsters and stuff, but still, can we not murder people? But we do cut back to Penguin's little hideout that he has there, where he opens up the door to find Black Mask leaning up against the door, still alive. he's like, oh man, you're not dead. That's so rude of you. We went through all this effort just to kill you. And Black Mask asks him, what do I have to give you for me to actually survive this? And Penguin just kind of laughs and smiles because it was his plan all along. You're going to have to give me everything, all your territory, all your men, all your money, and then I will get you out of here alive. All your base are belong to Penguin. And it's just Penguin like, wah, 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 as he is now reascended as a major crime family in Gotham City.
And all the territories, see? And all the long-range projectiles, see?
Again, it's this mob drama that's really, really good. And I think the next issue is the last one that the current author is writing, and I'm curious to see where she goes from there because she really turned this book around for me. Next up, though, Red Hood and Arsenal. I give you serious crime drama, and then I take you
not serious.
I take you to not serious Looney Tunes idiocy that is Red Hood Arsenal, where they have teamed up with Robot Batman in Gotham City to face off against the Underbelly, who is the manifestation of all evil thoughts. All evil thoughts given form, and so he's pretty strong in Gotham City. And Batman beats it all down and shoots it up with his little sonic cannon and stuff as Red Hood and Arsenal just kind of stand there. And then he turns around and starts lecturing the both of them about how they're bad people and they have rap sheets and he should haul them in downtown. And meanwhile, Roy Harper, Arsenal, is just counting the entire time. He's like 10, 9, 8, 7. And Batman's like, what the hell are you counting about? He's like, oh, he's going to regenerate and get back up. Now. And that's when Underbelly gets up and just kind of beats up Robot Batman and takes him out. Roy goes, hey, I have a new plan. I just thought of something, and runs off into the night, leaving Jason standing there with his two guns like, okay, I guess I'll shoot the manifest of thoughts and see how that works.
Yeah.
So he starts gunning it down while Underbelly's telling him, oh, you're evil too, Jason Todd. You know it as well as I do, and all evil answers to the Underbelly. I have control over evil. And just then he pulls out his gun, Jason Todd does, and he points it at the back of Batman's head, and Batman's like, I knew I couldn't trust you. I knew you were a bad person. He's like, I'm not evil. I'm dumb. I make bad decisions all the time, but I'm not evil. And then he shoots up Underbelly instead to help get Batman to safety. And just as that happens, this crackling energy arrow comes out of nowhere and hits Underbelly, who immediately dissipates into nothing. And Roy comes out like, yeah, woo, it worked. Awesome. They're like, what's so special about this arrow? Why did that work? He's like, well, you see, I was thinking about it, and since he keeps saying he's thought made manifest, I figured if I could put together an arrow that would put out an EMP pulse, some sort of electronics pulse, that would kind of separate thought patterns in the area, and then bounce that off of all the satellites so that it would hit all the other cities at the same time, then that should be able to disrupt a being made of thought if there was nothing able to create thought in that space. Okay. And you put that together in the garage over there? And he's like, yeah, pretty cool, huh? And Batman's just like, no, that's creepy as shit, kid. That's really creepy. He's like, I'm the best. It's awesome. And Batman's just like, okay, well, you guys need to get out of town ASAP. And they agree. We'll leave tomorrow by noon. No bloodshed, we promise. Jason just has to make a stop before we go. And he goes to the youth center where he ended up staying, which is the Lucius Fox Home for Wayward Children. Yeah. And as he's there, he is met by Bruce Wayne, Amnesia Bruce Wayne, who's just like, hey, can I help you with anything? And Jason's just like, holy crap, Bruce Wayne, you're still alive, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't remember him whatsoever, and he's not sure if this is an undercover thing or an amnesia thing or what actually the deal is. And they actually have a pretty nice conversation with one another, and then finally Jason just gives him a big hug. It's just like, I'm just happy to know people like you are still out here helping kids out, and goes on his way. And it's like, yeah, those little touching moments I like in it. That was what made Red Hood and the Outlaws stand out for me. And at the end, though, Roy Harper's watching this whole thing, and he's just kind of musing about how much Jason's grown up since they've hung out together, and he's really come to face his demons and embrace them and just make them a part of who he is instead of making them, a driving force for him doing bad things. But his musing is cut short when a gun is pressed to his head by Gotham's most villainous character, as the Joker's daughter stands behind him and goes, yes, now is my chance to rise to fame. and she pulls the trigger with the gun to Roy Harper's head. Ruh-roh indeed.
He'll probably just say bang, but you know.
I'm sure it will, but it's just, God, quit making Joker's daughter, quit trying to make her work. Fetch is never going to catch on.
No.
Just she keeps showing up and then they beat her up and everyone's just like, you suck, Joker's daughter, get out of here. And she just keeps showing up. Oh, and all of the other villains they've faced before in the past, like Susie Q and the deadly French mime gang.
Yeah.
They're all teaming up into one giant team to take out Red Hood and Arsenal. Thought I mentioned that as well.
Okay.
So they have their own supervillain team that's trying to take them out as well.
Very good. Very good.
A little bit of a Gary Stew with Arsenal there, but hey, that's kind of his thing now.
Yeah. So, all right, so moving on to Batman Superman number 25, continuing the big saga. So Jim Bats is still mad at Superman, who is currently hiding from him / trolling the crap out of him by using old Batman gear that Alfred let Clark have. So he's flying around with like a bat glider trying to track down the Dawn Command barbarians from the last story.
Okay.
Who still have a piece of the artificial sun that they got most of it back, but they have a piece of it. It turns out that they are, they're barbarians because they are literal unfrozen cavemen that have been thawed out by Vandal Savage.
Of course.
I love that he finds some good minions and he puts them on ice until he needs them again. That is so Vandal Savage.
It really is, but the fact that he just has caves from different time periods of different, like Spanish conquistadors are over in my other cave. This is my caveman cave over there.
Here's my barbarians. Yeah. Got some Mongols, you know.
I can just picture that though. Like he just has a button, a big control console where he's just like, well, I was going to attack Cinco de Mayo. I think conquistadors would work out fairly well for this one. I think it really sends a message that I'm trying to get across. So boop, unfreeze the conquistadors, please.
Yep. And I love that you actually learn a little bit about them, too. They're just like, oh, my God, I'm so hungry. Yeah, you just got unfrozen. You're going to be hungry for like a month, even though you're not. Here, try these things called burritos. They're amazing. They've been invented in the meantime.
Do they then wheeze the juice? No wheeze in the juice?
No.
Oh, man. Do they at least get out on the floor and walk the dinosaur? Please tell me they at least do that much.
No, they did stick their head under an ice cream machine, though.
Well, that's wheezing the juice.
All right, so T-shirt Superman, he's too underpowered to take on Vandal Savage by himself, but he gets saved by Batgirl, who was also trailing the Dawn Command and trying to protect Clark from her dad. So since Batman won't team up with Superman in Batman Superman, come on.
Kind of messing this whole thing up here.
Yeah. Batgirl recruits Red Hood and Grayson to join their team and stop Vandal Savage from harvesting uranium in Siberia.
Woo!
And Red Hood, of course, very first thing he says, frickin' Siberia. Can't be Hawaii or something. Ugh. Guys.
Yay, Jason Todd. Yay.
Yep. Just Jason Todding around.
You have to admit, he's come a long way. He has come a long way from I'm just stabbing everyone I see.
From stabby and bro fisting at the beginning of the New 52, he's come a very long way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy when he shows up.
Cool. Well, are you also happy when Harley Quinn shows up, though? Not so much? Push? Okay, well, then the next couple minutes might be a little rough for you. Because I have the next issue of Harley Quinn here, where Harley is off in Los Angeles, Hollywood, to be exact.
More like Holly Weird, am I right?
Yeah, I'm honk honk. Where she's trying to get the spoiled daughter of one of her coworkers at the hospital back home, who was sending back ransom notes, and it turned out that she wasn't actually being held for ransom. She was just trying to bilk some more money out of her mother. And her and Cowboy, some random guy dressed up as a cowboy she teamed up with, had tracked her down and holed up in a hotel, and that's when all of a sudden Deadshot, who was originally hired to get this girl and then was passed over when Harley Quinn said she would do it, shows up and shoots and kills Cowboy for no apparent reason. And then the two of them have a fight throughout the motel. Tons of quote-unquote innocent people, just bystanders, being killed in the crossfire between these two. And that's actually what ends the fight when Deadshot's little bounty scanner, he has a little scanner that scans the bounties of people around him, he realizes he's made more money in the crossfire of all these people that have been killed than actually doing the job. So he's just going to pack it in and take those people and cash out. Sure, Deadshot. Sure.
Just fiscal responsibility.
It really is. I mean, why put in more effort when he's already made more? And it was half the work.
Yeah.
Harley was even helping out, so... but the girl ends up escaping and Harley has to chase her down, and there's a whole big story with, gang members that are chasing her because she owes money, and, she's holding up with some drug dealers, but they end up actually negotiating their way through it until, the mother shows up to punish and take the daughter back, and Harley is flying back home to New Jersey when... as she is in the airport, she runs across Deadshot, who's also flying back home after his trip out there, and the two of them go let bygones be bygones, and they get drunk at the airport bar together, and they're actually palling around a little bit, and when Harley goes, hey, I'm gonna step out and use the restroom, she steals all of his bounty money and drives away into the night. Poor Deadshot. So it's zaniness, it's the usual style, it's hard to recap because it's a lot of punchline jokes, and they just don't translate well to me. Rehashing them and trying to state them in my own voice. But if you like Harley, this is actually the most story driven issues I think we've had.
Huh.
It feels very much like they're trying to rein in just the rando lulls and try to actually have a story with jokes mixed in instead of just honk honk. We're doing random things.
So random. All right. So moving on to Starfire number 5.
Doing so random things.
more lols, if anything. Misunderstanding lols.
Okay.
Balky lols. So Starfire was getting hit on by the mysterious Soren at a bar at the end of last issue. So we can pick up immediately with her and him just sharing a drink at the local bar. He tries to mind control her, not creepy at all.
No.
And instead of mind controlling her, she gets a flash of his origin story where he was a doctor that had the power to cure cancer.
Well, that should have been pretty high demand,
you would think. But as he was curing their cancer, he was also like absorbing their cancer, which gave him a tumor in his brain, which gave him the wonky mind control powers and also made him a little crazy, and he killed one of his nurses and is on the run.
Okay.
He freaks out and leaves suddenly. Starfire's just like, maybe I should catch up with that later after I have some more story-related beats in this issue.
We'll get back to you, crazy cancer guy.
I saw you murder someone in my head. Put a pin in that one. So, Starfire gets a job for a steady paycheck, and so she is not always up the butt of her housemate, Police Chief Stella. So she decides to get a job working at the local aquarium because the fish are so pretty. Why wouldn't I get involved with marine biology? They're not hiring someone with her lack of qualifications.
Well, ever.
But she decides to, when she's getting a tour of the place anyway, as a consolation gift for her during her interview, she jumps into the tank of a sad dolphin, kisses said dolphin to learn how to speak dolphin, and learns that she is sad because she misses her mate, and that's why she won't do flips and ball balance on her nose. So Starfire is immediately hired thanks to her dolphin whispering.
Well, yes, that's now she has a skill set that should be on the resume if you're applying at an aquarium.
Yes. As everyone else just reads like, oh my god, what is she doing to that dolphin? She's from space. She's from space. This is just her culture. You just don't understand.
It's a church thing. Everyone knows this. Mm-hmm. Space dolphins.
Yes. Very much so. Like that Lobo to come back. He just hung out with space dolphins.
Didn't murder hate kitties or anything.
Yeah. So, Blackfire sends an assassin to kill Starfire, but he's only doing it because his wife and child are being held captive. So, oh no, conflict. One of Starfire's space eggs hatches into a tiny being of pure light and sound that flies off into space. That might be a thing later.
Put a pin in that as well. Yep. Seems Starfire just has a lot of pins and things right now.
There's a big pool party where all the characters interconnect and more relationship drama gets stirred around. Starfire, Atlee, and the police chief are going to go on a road trip to the underground world in a month or so that should be fun.
Put a pin in that.
Yep. And then when Starfire leaves to go home, there's Dr. Soren with Police Chief Stella's brother dead on the doorstep with blood everywhere.
Starfire.
That's a weird first date there, Dr. Sword.
Yeah, I don't think
Here's this guy you had a crush on. He's dead now. I guess I'm all that's left, huh?
He read the Oliver Queen Guide to Dating.
I guess so.
Oh, wait, it says, don't murder the people they love.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
My thumb was over the knot.
Yes. Darn touchscreens.
Is it still cutesy fun? Because that doesn't sound very
It doesn't sound very cutesy. There's still a lot of cutesy fun, though. And, of course, it's a little cheesecakey when they just have... Mind you, they are in, Key West, so, pool parties are the thing that happens.
Yes. It's
I
at
did,
least not Maine in December.
I rather enjoyed the some of her new flamboyant friends at the pool party. Just like, you kissed a dolphin? I've done weirder things to get a job. No big deal. No big deal at all.
NBD.
Yep. I've seen some stuff, Starfire. You don't want to know about it.
Spring break. Let me tell you, it's a dirty time.
And you'll just misunderstand what I'm saying. So.
So next up, I have Earth 2, the Society. Rebuilding a new planet after Telos casts you off into a random place, not as easy as it sounds, even for superheroes. And it's changed these people, not all for the better, because we're going back to after the ships have crashed and kind of rehashing some things. And tasked to be the material supply guy, the Flash is not very keen on this thing. And he's just exhausted because they basically just have him running resources back and forth between all the cities until he finally comes to Midwest City, and decides to set up shop there because all the people adore him and worship him as the Flash. And,
just call it Midwest City, huh?
Midwest City.
Okay.
And he ends up staying there. He does become a bit of a partying, raging alcoholic, though, because everyone loves him. So he's always just going out on the town and drinking and hooking up with women.
But he hyper metabolizes it, right?
No, he gets hammered.
He
gets hammered. And Hawk Girl comes in and tells him, "Hey, I need your help on a mission tomorrow. Make sure you're available for it." And he gets so drunk that he just sleeps through it. And as he's about to leave to try to find Hawk Girl, all the people of Midwest City are just like, "Woo!" It's basically like a giant frat house. Midwest City seems like that because everyone's just like, "Yeah, Flash, let's get drunk. Woo,
there's nothing else to do here."
And so he's just like, "Get off me, you crazy Midwesterners! Ah, God, I have things to do. I have a job and stuff." And that's when Jimmy Olsen just kind of boom tubes in and goes, "Come, Flash, I will take you to safety." And he kind of boom tubes him out of there over to his town that he set up, a friendly place known as Shadow Town, which it looks like it's always night there, and there's always roving gangs of people and homeless all over the place. And yeah, Jimmy, I like what you've done with the place.
Yes.
Very nice. And then Jimmy starts cackling maniacally and saying, "Flash, we are both gods. Literally, I'm a new god and you were given your powers by Mercury. We are gods among men. We should totally just take over this planet and make it in our image. What do you say, buddy? Let's do that." And Flash is like, "Yeah, no, let's not. I got a thing I have to go to." And he just kind of runs off as, Jimmy Olsen's eyebrows just furrow down like, "Ooh, you have spurned me." Jimmy Olsen
like all Grinch style.
Yeah, he's not very friendly in this right now. So in the present day, if you remember where we had left off, Overwatch 1, the spaceship that was outside of there, had been hacked by Anarchy and was about to be crashed into Neotropolis. And they were trying to figure out a way to stop that from occurring. And so it is Batman, a powerless Val-Zod, because the Overwatch is parked next to the Red Sun. It's kept in that orbit. And,
is Tracer there?
No.
Or the big bio gorilla?
No.
Ugh.
No. But Flash is also there. They head up there to stop it from crashing into the city, and they're told they need to restart the gyroscope, the little spinny part, so that they can recontrol the direction of the fall or anything like that. And they have an issue with that because it's a giant, 20-ton ball that needs to be run super fast around this ring. And Flash goes, "Well, I can do the fast part, can't do the lifting 20 tons. Batman goes, "Well, I can lift the 20 tons with my exoskeleton, but I can't run fast." And Val-Zod's just like, "Yeah, I'm worthless, guys. Sorry, I hate red sunlight. No powers." And so they finally figure out, Flash goes, "Well, give me your exosuit there, Dick Grayson of Earth 2. And he puts it on, and poor Dick Grayson's just kind of laying on the ground. He can't do anything because he's crippled otherwise. And Flash picks up the ball and runs it around real quick, and yay, saves the day. They regain control, and the ship doesn't crash. But too soon to celebrate. because they figure out who's behind this whole thing, who's working with Anarchy, and who spray painted that giant A on the side of the spaceship that's been in orbit. Is Jimmy Olsen, the Godchild, who's working alongside Anarchy, and wants to activate that source vault thing and reclaim the planet in his image.
Kids these days.
Jimmy Olsen, just give him a watch. Take away the God powers, give him a watch again. That'll keep him busy. Everyone can live happily. I'm still enjoying the fact that everyone has their patron city that they help put together in their image, and other than Midwest City, I don't get why it's a giant frat house, but hey, whatever. Next up.
All right, Superman, Lois, and Clark #1. This book is a bill of goods. Where is Dean Cain?
I don't know. Terry Hatcher, is she in it?
I don't care about her. Where's Dean Cain?
Okay, probably with Terry Hatcher then.
Yeah, I suppose so. Off on the Hallmark Channel somewhere. So, remember at the end of Convergence where Underpants Superman, Pregnant Lois Lane, Flash, and Headband Supergirl and Parallax went off to go rewrite the Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Yeah,
it seemed like it'd be a really awesome story.
Uh-huh.
Well, that gets explained away in 3 panels, and now we're dealing with the fact that after they did that, history was rewritten and Earth Prime wasn't the same anymore.
Okay.
So classic Underpants Superman has been living on Earth Prime the entire time, watching from afar.
And not getting involved whatsoever?
Yeah, they even show a scene from the Justice League's big defining Darkseid fight origin story, where Underpants Superman is just watching from a distance on top of a building, just in case.
Just like hand cocked back, like,
any minute now. Like,
I know all these people are dying around me and I can help them, but
he's just like, this timeline is just so weird. I mean, Cyborg on the Justice League, I don't know about that. It's like, Superman, don't turn into drunk uncle. Come on. Come on. So
he always makes Thanksgiving so awkward.
I know. But they've been living underground, but not actual underground. They're just in an old restored farm on the New 52 Earth.
Okay.
Raising their little kid Jonathan as the White family, obviously in honor of Perry White, I'm hoping, after that Cyborg comment. You know? So, Superman's been secretly helping out while wearing his stealth black and silver Superman regeneration suit.
Okay.
And trying to iron out some classic Superman problems before they happen on this Earth. Like the Hank Henshaw problem. It's like, I want him to become Cyborg Superman. Don't worry, your uncle won't become Cyborg Superman. Shh. And Lois has become, and Lois is the breadwinner. Lois is the breadwinner for the family as the most celebrated author on Earth, Author X.
Author X.
She writes books under the name Author X, and she is the best-selling author on the New 52 Earth. That's why the guy that wrote the Justice League book became a supervillain, because he always had to come in number 2 to Author X. But yeah, so she's trying to expose the crap out of Inner Gang before that becomes a problem here.
Okay.
They're at least trying to be proactive. And meanwhile, in space, some evil alien is trying to find the Oblivion Stone, which can't be good.
No.
They wouldn't name it the Oblivion Stone if it made like rainbows and unicorns.
Well, they
crap.
could, just to keep people's hands
suppose,
off of it.
A Greenland, Iceland situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go to Iceland. Oh, it's horrible. But Greenland sounds awesome. You should go there, Vikings.
Yes. Though, this was certainly interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not... The retconniness of it is a little awkward.
Well, I mean, it's a setup issue, so you can get past all that stuff now.
Yeah,
and now.
just hopefully it doesn't become a like Vulcan in the X-Men situation.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm sure it's...
Oh, this super awesome guy was really here in the background all along.
I'm sure it's just a setup so that they could get them to the present day without impacting anyone's storylines that they've already put in place or anything like that.
I know.
Because as soon as you do that, it becomes... yeah, everything else is wrong now too, and we have to redo it all. And that's not what they want to do, so I'm surprised they didn't put him in one of Vandal Savage's caves. Like,
I know, right?
Oh no, we've wandered into one of his conquistador caves. We're trapped here for 20 years. No.
Oh, and I'm moving on to Constantine.
Yeah, you are.
The Hellblazer, #5. So Constantine really got his knickers in a twist when it turned out that the creature killing all of his ghosts and leading them to a fate worse than death was his ex-girlfriend Veronica,
Understandable.
who just kind of vanished out of existence. It turns out that when he dumped her, she tried to literally disappear and wound up banishing herself to another plane of being. Magic.
Yeah, the huge.
So he finds the book that she used to do it with the help from Ams, the 1,000-year-old magic librarian.
Okay.
Who's kind of a fun character who shows up for a couple of pages. So he gets Georgiana, his old friend, and the UK's official magic secret agent to help him try to save Veronica. Oh, and also she used to date Veronica too before she left her for Constantine. So there's all sorts of messy crap going on there.
The usual around
the usual Constantine kind of stuff, yeah.
Oh man, he betrayed somebody and backstabbed them? Never.
There's a shocker. So Veronica can't be saved, so they use the old book, which was filled with old Polaroids of her and her old friends, to just release her from the demon she turned into, basically erasing her from existence entirely. Worse than dead, just like John Constantine's ghosts. So, hooray, they won.
Yay, victory.
Yep, so, okay, I helped you, Constantine, now get the hell out of Britain and never come back. I hate you so much. All right, cheers then. You know.
Pip, pip, cheerio.
Pip, pip, hey, well. But yeah, I'm not doing this any justice. It was so good. We're just going so long on this.
Yeah, I know. It's there's a lot of books we're cutting short, but it's
and Rosmo's back and looking amazing still. So
it's like the consolation prize since we're losing Gotham by Midnight.
Yeah, at least we still got Constantine.
I know that's a shitty way of saying it.
Yeah,
it's just at least Constantine's good and in that same style and vein. I think it's a bit more.
Maybe he'll show up in Gotham for a few issues.
Maybe I don't know, but I just think it's at least we still have something similar enough that's out there that I can get behind and enjoy that style of book with. Since I'm losing one. Sad. But next, widescreen, Rubble, Justice League of America.
Yep.
As you always tell me, those are the things I should know about this.
The hallmarks of this creator.
We are doing Justice League of America, where the Church of Rao is spreading across the planet Earth, because Rao himself has shown up, the god from Superman's planet of Krypton, and Superman's kind of having some doubts. It's like, okay, yeah, I mean, he did show up, he did cure cancer, but Starfire told me the people that cure cancer may not be good.
Yeah.
May not be good. So maybe I'll do some research, because I don't like the way that he just showed up and all of a sudden I was just like, holy crap, it's God, and I just started kowtowing to him immediately because I didn't really have the religious upbringing, being an infant shot into space and all. I probably shouldn't know anything about this guy other than he existed at some point, more of a historical connection than an actual religious connection. So I'm going to drop off some blood to Star Labs. Hey, Cyborg's dad. Can you guys check and see if there's something weird that would make it so I'd react that way to Rao? And they go, yeah, sure, why not? That's what we do. We run tests here. That's all we do here at Star Labs.
That's how you know it's Star Labs.
Yeah, exactly. And Batman is doing it his own way by grabbing a bunch of Rao converts and stuffing them into MRI machines. I know the brains are different.
Bat MRI machines, thank you.
He's just etching into the side of it as he's doing
These are mine now.
Patent pending. I'm going to put a little R here. Copyright. Yes. Yeah. Mine. But he's trying to find something as well in there, and they're just not finding anything right off the bat. And it's just horrifying because people are being dragged out into the streets to receive the quote-unquote blessing of Rao so that they can understand the peace and calm that washes over them. And it's even stuff like parents dragging their kids out to be blessed, and they're just like, no, I don't like it whatsoever. Everyone that has it done is acting weird. You're not acting like yourself. Don't make me do it. And then they're dragged out and they get the blessing, and then they're just another Stepford kid as well, and part of the group. Just throwing that out there, you know, maybe something's being poked at a little bit. Levity. I'm gonna give you a little bit of levity here, because as this is going on, it's being broadcast on TV about how Rao is coming, Rao is saving us all, and look at everyone joining Rao and
Gabbo, Rao.
Well, at home in Amnesty Bay, it's Arthur and Mara kicking back on the couch watching TV, and Mara's like, you didn't actually leave one of those prophets down in Atlantis, did you? And he's like, Atlantis people won't go for this crap. I know them. Besides, you can trust me, I'm a great king. Nothing could possibly go wrong. And Mara's just kind of side-eyeing him the entire time, like, oh God, I better make a phone call. So it was just like this one panel thing off to the side that I was just like, Arthur, you get one panel of real estate and you're still the worst king of Atlantis ever. So as Superman heads on back to the Fortress of Solitude to try to find answers himself, he's contacted by Cyborg back at Star Labs and go, hey, we ran our tests. There is a genetic marker that's in your blood that's been there for centuries, it looks like. It looks like sometime in your species past, they were genetically altered to worship Rao. Something was changed within them. And using Batman's MRI stuff that I don't know where he's getting it from, but using all of this data, it looks like the people that are being blessed are also getting this genetic marker in their DNA as well. So that doesn't sound good, does it? And Superman's like, no, sounds bad. Ah, crap. And as he's saying that, he's cut off because Rao himself shows up with his prophets and acolytes and just goes, Superman, Superman, Superman. Would have been so much easier if you would have just believed. And I guess they're going to throw down next episode. So, goddamn Aquaman. That's all I can say. It's little stuff like that that makes me actually enjoy it, though.
Yeah.
Because that got across so much between those characters in one panel where you just like, Mara's just like, God damn it. I always have to clean up this crap because he's just like, whatever. So what do you got? I think that was it for me.
Yeah, I'm closing off with Justice League United number 14.
Jaloo.
So the current Jaloo task force is stuck in a breaker where all wars are happening at once.
Well, that's
all of
hard.
them.
War never changes.
Suppose.
Yeah, it doesn't. I know this for a fact.
Okay. Probably been said in something that I haven't seen.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it could have been. Sounds pretty smart. So.
Okay. We've got all sorts of crazy things happening. Vandal Savage is dealing with Sergeant Rock and Easy Company because back in the day he made a deal with the Germans and fed them some information. So they think he's a Nazi sympathizer, but he just didn't want them killing his wife or girlfriend of the time.
Fair statement.
But then they did anyway, so he's no friend of the Nazis.
Uh-oh.
No matter what Sergeant... Maybe.
That'd be awesome.
Donnie's coming. So, but Sergeant Rock doesn't know that, so Batgirl helps Vandal Savage get away from them, but he's still Vandal Savage and loves all of the killing and doesn't know, and she doesn't know if she's made the right choice, because he just killed a bunch of German officers as they're getting away.
It does tend to taint your view on someone.
And Bat people don't really don't like that very much. Stargirl is without her staff and is paired up with Enemy Ace, a super noble World War I German pilot who would be considered a hero if he wasn't on the bad guy's side, which I don't know much else about him, but he's always seemed like he's a very interesting character.
I know he always sits on top of the doghouse with Woodstock and just makes brown
noises. He is literally based on the Red Baron, if you were aware of that. Yep. So, but her staff is with the Creature Commandos, the monster army squad with a mummy, a vampire, a Medusa, GI robot, and thanks to current continuity, past versions of Frankenstein, and GI zombie Jared. Yeah! Jared caught the staff when it went through him and didn't kill him, because he is GI zombie. Jared.
Does he just kind of walk up with it still in him? Like, hey,
well, you
lose this?
You see him get impaled at the beginning, and then later on, he's just like, oh, that happened again.
Tuesdays. I hate Tuesdays.
Schlucked. Out of my chest. So they pair up with Steel and Robot Man, and we find out on the last page that they're being pursued by the one-man attacked construct known as OMAC.
Yeah. Like old school OMAC or new school OMAC?
Don't really know, because I didn't really read the new school OMAC.
Does he have giant blue
He does have a giant blue fin, yeah.
Okay.
It's not a pointy fin, though, so I'm not sure if that leads you to make the new 52 OMAC or not.
Is he more robot than man?
He's just a big blue dude who showed up on the last page, man.
Okay, fair. I'll just borrow your issue and look.
Okay.
What do you think of Jaloo?
It's a little sad because I believe it has been canceled.
Yes.
It almost makes you wonder if they're just sort of, all right, we'll do this last story of all the stuff that I want to do.
DC Comics presents, no matter what you name it, just cannot seem to survive in this market. That's sad to me. That's really sad to me. But
Love that first story. This one, I mean, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Not with the same level of enjoyment that I had the last one. So
fair enough.
You know, we will see. I mean, Jared showed up. It's a book where Jared and Frankenstein showed up.
They can exist again in these books. They don't get to live elsewhere.
I know. On top of that, it's past Jared. So man.
Yeah. Pre-sandwich. Is he still overweight or?
Okay, we're not allowed to make those jokes, Sean.
I know.
Come on.
I know.
Oh.
I was biting my tongue the whole time.
I know. The Jared we're allowed to enjoy.
I know.
G.I. Jared.
Yes. I'm with you. But that's it. That's all the books for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of books that we just did. You should be grateful, Brian. Mm-hmm. That we're catching up.
I thought the people that were listening should be grateful.
Well, no, they're probably horrified.
Okay,
they're
gotcha.
probably like, dear God, how long is this thing going to run? Because this is
listening out of obligation because it's still in my feed.
Why have I not deleted this yet?
Yeah.
But
we're the best at promoting ourselves.
Yeah, we are. I've really marketed this thing a lot.
Oh.
Matter of fact, next week probably I'll have my announcement as far as our downloads and everything, because we hit a milestone next week.
Oh, really?
If we keep pace at least this week. So, yeah.
Woo!
Jeez. Woo! Reminder to you guys, buy these books. If you don't want to see things go the way of JLU, if you want DC Universe to present things, you have to buy it. You have to support it. If you don't buy it, they don't make it. That's just the common sense rules and how it works. So, make sure you support the things that you like. Next week, we are going to double down once more. I think we're going to try to burn through 2 more weeks.
Stick it between 2 pieces of fried chicken.
Yep. And then hopefully make some ground up and
mother it in cheese.
and we should be caught up by Christmas. I want to say mid-December. We should be there.
Yeah.
I'm giving us some leeway in case Thanksgiving gets us down to 1 week or something like that. So I'm going to say by Christmas we'll be up to date for sure and can go from there. But we're making up some lost ground. We're already in mid to late October and we're only in mid-November right now. So yeah, keep up. Keep up. We're going to make it. If you do want to contact us, you can do so on that thing called the Intarnet. It's very popular. If you cannot find it, ask a guard and they will point you in its lovely direction. And, you just type in DCR podcast almost into anything. Open up Word and type in DCR podcast and it'll be like blink, blink, blink. And then Clippy will pop up and say, hey, did you want to listen to DCR podcast? And you just hit yes and it'll play it for you.
Little Clippy, man.
Yeah.
The unsung hero of the digital age.
I slipped him some digital currency and went, there you go, buddy. Just if anyone types in DCR podcast, you send them our way. And he went,
gave him some Dogecoin or something.
Yeah. Dogecoin. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Brian, do you have anything before we take off for this week?
Honestly, I really don't.
You don't?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Fallout 4 is pretty fun. Just going to throw that out there. Quite enjoying it.
I enjoyed The Martian. I saw The Martian the other week. That was
saw
fun.
that too.
Yeah.
Not bad. I quite enjoyed it as well. I read the book prior, so.
A crowd pleaser.
Yeah. They cut out some scenes that I liked, but it was still good. It was probably the best scenes to cut to keep people interested in the movie.
Gotcha.
But they were still good scenes in the book. So if you have seen the movie and enjoyed it, go read the book too.
Okay.
It's got some stuff in there you might like. So with that being said, everyone enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will come back at you next week.